Okay, I have the Eachine P47, mini P47 out today. It's been a while since I've flown it. Haven't flown it since the review videos. I still got all my nose weight on there. I've got my TX16S out here to fly it with. So, let's see what direction the wind is coming from. Alright, let's see if we can get it near. Now, I did put some lubricant, some dry lubricant on those gears before I brought it out here, just to see. I guess it sounds a little quieter than it did. I got it in safe mode right now. Isn't that is a nice looking plane. I love those markings on it. That is cool. Whee! Look at that skew. Look at that skew in the wind. I don't know what we've got out here. I didn't measure it before I put it in the air, but I would guess probably 4 to 5. Look at that. Look at that rudder. That is too cool. Well, heck, let's see if it turns in the other direction. I don't know. It does. Whee! I've got my timer set for 5 minutes. This one seems to go through batteries a little quicker. Well, look at that. Look at that skew. That is cool, guys. Going into the wind right there. Let's turn it back this way. It seems to go through batteries faster than the other. Woo! Got some wind there. Than the other mini birds do. And I assume it's probably because it's heavier than they are. It's bigger and heavier. But look at that. Is that awesome, or is that awesome? That is a nice flying plane. And it's like I said, it checks all the boxes for a beginner plane. A beginner won't have any problems flying this. Now watch, I'll probably crash it right after I say that. Whee! And I've got it in low rates right now. I got it in low rates, and I'm using a lot of rudder to turn it. As you can see that the wings almost stay flat. There's full aileron right there. The wings stay pretty flat. So you got to use a lot of rudder in beginner mode. But that's fine. As that way it doesn't lose as much lift in the turns. You know, for a beginner plane, that's what you want. But isn't that cool? Let's see if I can slow it down a little bit. I don't know. I know I've stalled it once already, but that's pretty slow. Whee! That's a fun little plane. It doesn't have a lot of power, but it is a really fun, stable flying plane. I have to say, it's a very awesome beginner plane, and I love the markings on it. It's very visible. Whee! So I just have a blast just cruising around with it because it's so stable. Oh, what's the truck? I'm gonna land on the truck. Oh no. Look at that. Look at how slow that's flying. Right over my head. Wow, this is a good demonstration, I think, of how this flies in beginner mode. That's a pretty good turn, you know, with a lot of rudder. Well, I think one of my first complaints when I first brought it out here, and oh, I forgot, I know why it's turning better. I've made an aileron adjustment to it. So I've got the ailerons on the inside holes on the control horns to give it a little bit more movement. So that explains why I'm getting better aileron movement in beginner mode now than what I was getting when I first brought it out to review it. I forgot about that. Yeah, so this is my first test flight after making the adjustment with the ailerons, I believe. I might be mistaken, but I think it is. Whee! So yeah, if you make that adjustment with the ailerons, you can see it now. I mean, this is a lot tighter turn in beginner mode than what I was able to get out of it when I was reviewing it. I mean, those are pretty tight turns. You got to use a lot of aileron and a lot of rudder, but yeah, those are a lot tighter turns. Okay, so let's figure out where our wind is coming from. I'm starting to get my haptic. Isn't that cool? That is a nice flying little bird. Okay, let's do a practice approach here real quick. Practice approach, practice approach, practice approach, practice approach, practice approach. Oh, we did a touch and go. We did a touch and go. I hope you guys saw that. We did a touch and go on our practice approach. I don't do those very often. Okay, let's see if we can bring it in now. That was the end of my timer. Check that out. Man, this thing just about lands itself. That was awesome. I do like the aileron adjustment. It allows me to fly it in complete beginner mode and still be able to make, you saw the turns. Those were fairly tight turns. I wasn't even giving it full aileron, but I was giving it full rudder when I was making those turns. So that is awesome. Fantastic little beginner plane, guys. So let's put another battery pack in it. Maybe I can do another touch and go. I do like these larger wheels and tires that allow me to do that, because I can't do that, I don't think, out here with one of the 400mm Wingspan mini Warbirds, because it would just nose over as soon as the wheels touch the ground. So I do like these 500mm Wingspan planes better than the 400s. They handle better. I think they're more stable. I like the larger, more robust landing gear. These don't have as much power as the 400s, but for a beginner plane, I think the 500mm Wingspan planes are better. So anyway, let's put another battery in it. See you in a minute. Okay, are we ready to get another flight on this fun little plane? Let's get this Eachine Mini P47 back in the air. It's a lot of fun to fly. I don't know, I know Banggood's having a big sale on a lot of their stuff right now. As a matter of fact, I posted some of it on our Facebook page. They had I couldn't believe it, they had the Eachine F-16 50mm EDF jet on sale for $105 for the plug-and-fly version at the U.S. warehouse. So I pulled the trigger on it. The Eachine F-16 50mm EDF jet is an awesome flying EDF jet. So I ordered it as a spare, guys. But you might want to check out the price on this one too. I'll post a link to it in the show notes with the current price before this video is published. But let's get it in the air again. Takes right off. I don't know, I think that after putting that dry lubricant on those gears, I do think that it's quieter than it was the last time that I had it out here. Look at that slew with the rudder. Look at that slew. Is that cool or is that cool? Alright, come back here. Look at that. That is in beginner mode, guys. That is a sharp turn. Not run into myself. Look at that. That's in beginner mode. That is slick. So I think one of the other adjustments that I made to it was I wanted to get maximum throw on the rudder. I'll double check the linkage setup on that when I land it, but I'm pretty sure I put maximum movement in the rudder, because man, does that turn it sharp in beginner mode. Now you got to be careful when you're in manual mode, because too much rudder and too little speed and it will tip stall on you, as I think I found out in one of the review videos. So yeah, in manual mode you want to keep your speed up. You can't fly as slowly in manual mode as you can in a beginner mode with this gyro, because this gyro is just rock solid, you know. I mean, look at that. Those are some slow, sharp turns, and it's keeping it in the air very easily. So yeah, I've always been impressed with the gyros that they have had in their mini planes, and I love the fact that you have all three modes with it. You got beginner mode, intermediate mode, and expert mode, which is full manual mode. And for me, that is the best setup on a gyro. I don't like these gyros that do not have a manual mode on them, you know. And I'm kind of surprised they do that, because they certainly, the ones that have manual mode on them certainly appeal to me. So I would think that having that additional mode, a full manual mode on the gyro, would appeal to more people, and therefore sell more planes. So I'm really surprised that all of these manufacturers are not doing that, but they're not. I think I might double down on my application of that. Ooh, that was fast. Dry lubricant that I put on the gears, and see if it quiets them down even more. I didn't put a whole lot on them. And I've had this stuff in one of my Needful Things videos. It's a DuPont. You know, it comes in as a liquid. You got to shake it up because it's got some kind of material in it. It might be like a graphite, but you got to shake it up to get it all mixed up before you apply it. But it dries. It's not it goes on wet, but it dries. And then it coats all the surfaces with like that graphite. Actually, I think it's Teflon, not graphite, but Teflon. And so it coats all the gears with the Teflon. And it really works well. I used to use that stuff on my toy quadcopters when I first got into the hobby, because they had the same thing. You know, they had a brushed motor and gearbox. And so, and to make them run smoother and provide a little more power and cut down on the noise, I used that DuPont lubricant, and that worked out really well. I don't know why I haven't used it on some of these other planes that have, you know, the gearbox and motor until this one. Maybe it was because this one was so noisy. I thought, man, I got to put something on these gears to make them a little smoother and a little quieter. I'm starting to get my haptic, so it's almost time to come in. So before we land, let's see if we can do another touch and go with it. I don't see anybody coming. I've only had one vehicle out here so far, which is nice and unusual. We did it. We did another touch and go. This plane is just so cool, guys. Excellent, excellent beginner plane. Okay, so let's see if we can bring it in and land it. It's so floaty with that gyro. Look at that. That is awesome. Okay. So I've had my fun with this one. I got a couple other planes I brought out with me I want to put in the air, but I do think that really helped. And both of these flights have been with the stock 500 milliamp hour 1S LiPo, and yeah, I do think that that's really quieted those gears down. But I had it out here last time when I was flying it, and I was putting some of my old 400 milliamp hour 1S LiPos in it, and it was going through those pretty quick. I mean, by the time that I got to 4.5 minutes, I could definitely tell that there was a drop off in power. So I do recommend that you use those larger capacity 500 milliamp hour LiPos for this plane, because it does seem to draw more amps than the 400 millimeter wingspan planes. Maybe the gearing is not quite as efficient because it's bigger and heavier, but I didn't feel any drop off in power during that 5-minute flight with the stock 500 milliamp hour LiPo. So that's what I'm going to be flying it with from now on. Maybe I'll have to look through my inventory of 1S LiPos and see if maybe I have a 600 milliamp hour LiPo I could put in it, and then maybe I could decrease the nose weight a little bit and get even longer flight times with it. But an exceptional flying beginner plane, and I highly recommend it as a beginner plane. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the air.